Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Thank you, Chris. Watch out, Devin. Here comes Kevin. Kevin is your enterprise AI pair programmer that can write code based on your example. So, enterprise apps are complex. As you can see in the screen, most enterprise applications are composed of a lot of modules, a lot of pages, a lot of screens, and they need to interact with each other. We probably have seen and have worked with a lot of enterprise, and we know how it works. And in order to address those compliance, in those complexity, enterprise needs compliance, standard coding structure, standard coding packages, design patterns, because we need certain level of pattern and standards so that the code become maintainable. Because maintainable codes requires predictability. If you're able to understand code of other members, it would be so much easier to maintain existing enterprise applications. And a lot of enterprise applications are huge. Look at these EMR systems. At the minimum would require at least 170 plus pages, right? Handling very similar information, recording of patient information, recording of diagnosis, recording of patients, treatments, medical history, insurance, calendar appointments. But all of these are just forms. And another example would be ERP, right? I mean, we've all seen very complex ERPs, and this one probably takes 300 or maybe 1,000 more pages. And a lot of these enterprise applications are being built by very large teams. I'm based in the Philippines, so there's a lot of outsourcing companies here. We do a lot of enterprise apps. India has much, much more number of developers because developing enterprise applications requires large teams. But in reality, a lot of what we're doing can be done by just copying and pasting. A big portion, or the most important portion that's being done by system architects, are designing the entire module. But a lot of the manual labor of coding has to comply with a certain standard, right? There's MVC, there's model view controller. So you need to follow all these standard patterns so that your application is maintainable. So what if you have an AI that can help you write program based on existing codes? You create a simple CRUD page, just like what I'm gonna demo later. It allows you to create, read, update, and delete. And you ask AI to update that code and change the fields, change the modules, and one CRUD page would probably traditionally take 2 days, maybe 3 days maximum. But with an AI, you can probably get it done in an hour or so with proper coding. And what's more important, Kevin is here. There's no wait list. It's already out there. It's open source and it's free. Now, the architecture is designed such that it's multi-agent. There are two stages to this application. One is the requirements gathering phase. So there is an agent that is responsible for getting the requirements. In this case, we define the requirements into three, which is what model you want to create, what are the fields inside the model, and where do you want to save the file. So the first part will just keep on prompting, asking the question, and once it has this information, it then generates a code. In this case, I have an example that uses React Next.js. So it will take that template, uh, get the fields, the requirements, and then use a prompt, save it to a file, and it can also check if there's any errors in that code. So I'll continue. I'll probably just show you how it works, right? So, second. So, um, Kevin is working on Chainlit. So integrated this with Chainlit. And this is the first agent that's running. So I can help you build CRUD pages, what entity you want to work with. Let's say, I put in departments. Oops, I made a typo. Never mind. I'll just continue doing with that. And then it asks me, what are the fields of the department model? Well, of course, let's just say hypothetically, we're doing name, category, description, and type, right? So it collects those data And you can see that there are steps that are being taken, right? So in the earlier question, what model you want to work with. So Kevin is acting as a system analyst. It says departments is noted. What are the fields? So this, then there's another prompt that asks what would be the next question. So same with this one. And it says here, where do you want me to save the file? So I have the location somewhere. So I'll just type it in here. All right, so it has captured all the information, and then it prompts me, do you want to generate the code? But I made a typo, so I'll just say no, right? And then I'll say change model to department. Choose the correct one. It will then pick up this message and correct itself in the model. So I'm done. I have the department model. I create the name, category, description, and type. And I want to save the location here. I click yes. It will then start generating the code. The code generation takes a while, about a minute. So while that is running, I'll just go through some of the code. So this is the system analyst prompt. So basically, you're a system analyst, and then it asks, your task is to ask for the following information, the model, the field, and the location. And this is the information you know. So basically, we're telling it, you ask this information, and then we collect this into a variable, and then we put the variable in there. So it's smart enough to know what's the next question to ask. We're using a tool, what do you call this? LangGraph. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Chris, for teaching LangGraph. But it uses LangGraph and tools to identify what the message is about. And then this one updates the requirement to the variable. Then the code generation part is basically reading the files from a certain location, generates a boilerplate code. And then, again, there's a prompt. It says generate count depending on the number of files inside your template. So generate 3 source code using Next.js. So our platform is, the sample code I provided is Next.js and Prisma. And given the template below. So here are the template, here are the boilerplates. You place the boilerplates, and then I give the instruction, change the table name and change the fields to include this and respond with this format. Then I have a parser, which will then parse the different files. And that's it. That's how the code generation works. Now, let me just check what's happening on the AI part. Just 1 second, because okay. The problem I encountered with Chainlit is that it actually keeps on running if the process is running more than 45 seconds. So that's why it's not able to continue with the prompt. But yeah, so this is the app. Oh, I wasn't able to show you earlier, but this is the app. And we have here the departments model. I missed one step in my demo. This was missing before, but now I think it has successfully generated the code. It's probably compiling right now. There you go. So this is the department page that was created based on the template. So the template is like this in the prompts library, right? So I pick up the existing code and I ask AI to create another similar based on this. So you can then create here AI engineering description there, whatever type, and it saved the file. So then you'll have filter functions and additional fields here. So that's essentially how it works. And so what we've seen is a requirements gathering AI that collects the requirements, gets all the information. Once it has all the information, it uses a template. So imagine you can use any templates that you like and then put in your folder. And then there's a lint checker also. I forgot. I was not able to integrate the lint checker because Chainlit stops here. So, but there is a lint check. So you can call the lint check, browse through the result of the lint, send it back to the AI, and it will autocorrect itself, but not part of the demo. Thank you.
All right, Kevin, we've got 30 seconds left.
Oh, 30 seconds left then. This is Kevin. Again, because maintainable codes requires predictability. You want to give an example. It's available on Git, public open source application. Upcoming is that it's going to autocorrect with lincheck. So that's actually coded already, except it's not part of the chainlit. And then there will be Prisma integration so that it can create its own backend and chat to update. So you can probably select a file and what change you want to do with it. And we'll continue doing it because this project is actually something we're working on. So we need to get this done. That's all.